Immediately continuing the discussion. E.T. for the Atari is at least justifiable under the idea that people didn't know how to make video games as well as they do now. Or did at those times, because it was a burgeoning art form. And I'm going to be honest with you, most burgeoning art forms, they still don't know what they're doing. That guy was poking right out of your ass. Looked like you had an eyeball between your cheeks.
Do you not?
No.
Wait, that's a weird thing?
It's 100% a weird thing.
God damn it. Why didn't you tell me?
Because I've never seen your asshole. Why would that make you cry? I think that one's by your choice. But, you know, if you look at some of the early Greek plays, they're actually not that good. Like, some of the really early ones. There are some we still have that it's like, yeah, that people knew what the fuck they were doing at this point. But some of them, it's like, ugh. And as much as I love the Odyssey, the ending to it's fucking stupid. Do you remember the ending of the Odyssey?
I don't.
A god comes down and literally just fixes the rest of the problems.
That's lazy.
Yeah.
This is going on too long. Let's just have Zeus come fix it.
No, it was Athena. But that was common in Greek plays all the time.
Zeus breaks everything.
They didn't know how to end plays and shit, so they just end with a god coming down and fixing the remaining problems. Because they didn't know how to fucking write.
Yeah, it was new.
Yeah. Or at least the way they wrote was new. Like, stories had existed before then, we've seen stories before then. But the Greek stories were the first time people were actually, like, making stories instead of just passing them down.
Yeah, it was no longer oral, it was written.
It was the play tradition. Which, because not everyone could read back then. But the play tradition, which was in part written, kinda, I don't know. It's complicated. I'm going to put it down as it's complicated and move on. But, you know, this was the first time people were actually just sitting down and making a story. Like, before this, people were telling events that had happened, or they were telling events that happened and slowly things were changing as the story was told over and over again. But it wasn't that one person sat down and was trying to make a story. That was new. And so people didn't know how to end stories. Because normally what would happen is you just continue the story. Like, then Hercules would do this bullshit.
But
that's how that went.
But you couldn't, because it was a play.
Yeah, because the audience expected another play to come on after yours. They wanted more characters. And so a lot of Greek plays literally end with a god comes down and fixes it. And if you're a story buff like me, this is where we get the term Deus Ex Machina. Which, Deus Ex Machina, is Latin for God from the Machine. Because how this was represented in the play is someone in a god costume would then physically come down from on high, and then they'd be like, the play's done. The god from the machine. Deus Ex Machina. Which now in storytelling is used to say, this is lazy writing. This happens for no reason. This comes out of nowhere. This is like Kaguya in Naruto.
Yeah.
It comes out of fucking nowhere. But it's something with no foreshadowing that happens that either helps the hero or harms the hero. Some people try to make the distinction that it can't be a Deus Ex Machina if it harms the hero, but I disagree.
Of course you harm the hero. You want to continue the plot for no reason.
Yeah, so something bullshit happens, it's not foreshadowed, doesn't make sense.
Like, the final boss. You beat him down to, like, the last chunk of health, and then they just become, like...
Super them.
Yeah, they become Super Saiyan for no reason. Other than to elongate the story by another hour, because you have to go do some weird bullshit.
Unless, like, it's multiple forms in the same boss fight. I feel that one's more justified.
That's appropriate.
Yeah, like, Xemnas, you fight him once, and then you fight him in a memory to start, and then he moves over, and then you have to fight all of his forms.
Or, one of my favorites was Kingdom Hearts 2, because you were talking about Dream Jump, right?
No.
No?
That was Kingdom Hearts 2.
Are you sure?
Yeah. Because you fight him once, and he's a dream.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah. I remember that because I just recently replayed 2
You run up the tower, and you...
Yeah, you get the run up the tower thing.
Which is awesome.
That has then been repeated in every Kingdom Hearts game since, but
Yeah, but that's not the point.
Yeah.
And then you beat him, and you think you beat him, but then you didn't. And then it's
you open up the final boss.
Right.
Immediately after that, and then he has...
It's meant just for the Keyblade Masters to fight, which I think is really cool for theming.
Well, everyone tries to go in there, but right away he just locks the fucking door behind the Keyblade Masters.
Right.
So just Sora, Donald, Goofy, and
Riku
get through.
And then you do the whole thing.
Because Mickey and Kairi have to step back for a second then. And then you have to fight his jets that are powering his castle, that are powering his dragon. Because he has a dragon, I guess.
Right. Because, you know, he's pretty much king of nobodies. It makes sense if he...
Has a dragon.
Yeah, I'm okay with that.
And then you fight him in a throne, and then you kick his ass. And then it's like, oh, you've beaten Xemnas. Congratulations. And then everyone starts to leave, and just as everyone's leaving, Riku and Sora get fucked over and don't get to leave, and then you have to fight 2 more forms, including him on his throne again.
That was a little lazy. I'm not okay with that.
The only way they change the fight is you have access to the max power of all the drive form abilities at that point in the game.
Which is pretty cool.
For no reason.
There really isn't, but I still
It doesn't even justify it, you just have it.
It doesn't.
No, it's just suddenly you have these abilities. And you could be like, well, you're in space. What about the times you aren't in space? What about the fact that Xemnas doesn't have these powers? He's wearing heavy armor, but if you're in space, he's not wearing heavy armor. Because
you're in space.
Heavy is related to gravity.
If there's no gravity, that's
weight
not heavy.
is how mass interacts with gravity. Isn't this boss in a train car? Or is this in a different Zelda that I'm thinking of?
Train car?
Not a train car, but like a minecart?
No.
It must be in Phantom Hourglass or one of them. You must have to fight one of these guys. A guy in a sand area with minecart and arrows. Because I remember that pretty well.
Ah. Yeah, I had him in one of the handhelds. It's probably Spirit Tracks, because I don't remember that kind of boss fight.
Floppy vagina mouth.
Yeah, it kind of is. Oh, no.
This boss is really poorly designed.
The final boss of Kingdom Hearts 2. Xemnas himself, when he's in his black and white robe.
I thought that robe was so cool.
It was wholly fucking awesome.
Yeah.
Like, that whole thing was just bitchin'.
Really, I don't think there's a boss fight in Kingdom Hearts 2 that was that disappointing.
Are you counting optional bosses as well?
Even counting them, I don't think there's any. Because there are, like, the only one that I really feel like, I could do without this one is the Tron boss fight.
I didn't like Julius just because it felt really stupid to have a Frankenstein.
Still talking about Kingdom Hearts 2.
It's going with Dream Drop Distance in general.
Oh no, Dream Drop Distance, the boss fights didn't feel as tight in that one.
Yeah.
Because I feel like Kingdom Hearts 2 was all about the boss fights.
It was.
Because the boss fights were really good. But Dream Drop Distance, a few of them I guess
I didn't get hit. Come on.
Well, you got hit in the end.
Finally.
At least you didn't Grandma's suit before them.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of,
Jules was stupid, the weird mole thing was stupid, I fucking hated the Spellican.
A boss fight I found difficult, a story boss fight, was actually, what was his name? He uses Lance and Wind. Zaldin.
That was actually the first boss fight I got stuck on.
And Demix.
I actually beat him almost entirely with Mickey. Zaldin. I actually found out you can't kill boss fights as Mickey through that one, and I was like, really? That's stupid.
I'm getting so lazy with just fighting him. I shouldn't be taking this much damage.
But you're doing it because you're going to get a full heal after this.
Yeah. I'm just being told. Let's see, I almost fully killed anyway just by killing little worm things.
And you're about to kill him.
What? That's horseshit.
Oh, game over.
It should be game over because I just got digested, but it's not.
Because they can't have a one-shot in a casual game.
No, but I totally grapple and hooked his
Let's be fair here, Legend of Zelda is pretty much a casual series.
It is.
The action is not the main thing, it's exploring the worlds while doing puzzles. That's the core engagement, and the fighting is just because video games. There aren't too many video games that are inherently non-violent.
But, like with Kingdom Hearts 2, his boss battle became manageable because of dodge roll. Because I could never dodge right with quick run. I just couldn't.
You go farther. So for some attacks, it's better. Like, I feel that most attacks, the dodge run is better. But if you don't need distance, like in the Demix fight, it's easier to just dodge roll. But I found, like, if you use limits with the right time and summons with the right timing, he does nothing. Because, like, right before that, you can get... You should have gotten Donald's Fireworks, which takes off a health bar and a half of his.
I did not know that.
And then you have the Chicken Little summon, which as long as you've even, like, attempted to boost your summons, will last for a long time and also take off a health bar. And entering the summon gives you back your limit at full. So, you know, you can then use Donald's Fireworks again, as long as he doesn't enter his Dance Water Dance thing.
Yeah, because then you're pretty fucked then.
Yeah.
Because for some reason, once the time limit ends, you die.
Doesn't make sense.
There's no reason.
I'll admit that one's stupid.
And there we go. Fully powered up Master Sword. Aesthetically different.
Now it has text written on it or something?
No, now it's just glowy.
That hilt looks like a frog.
God damn it, I never noticed that until now.
I didn't notice it until now either. That's my first time seeing it. That totally looked like a frog.
No, there's no writing etched, but...
I recall there being writing etched on it. Or is that in different games?
I think it just might be that the Hylian crest on the blade is now more visible than it was before. But there's never been writing on the Master Sword, ever. Ever. There's been no, like, Hylian text or anything, just that crest. And then, now it sparkles with the power to repel evil.
Meaning that Ganondorf, you know.
Plot reasons he can't just bitch slap me and stop me. Sure, I can kill a giant ghost and a giant monster that fucking eats me. But God forbid I get bitch slapped by a man. Yep. Forsaken Fortress, totally abandoned.
Because Ganon realized that, you know, you beat his fortress once before, so why the fuck would he stay in the same fucking fortress?
Exactly.
Why would you have to go through the same dungeon more than once?
Exactly. And then he had the thought, and minor spoilers because it'll take me a while to collect the Triforce pieces, like, oh, I know exactly where they took Princess Zelda. Because I'm not retarded.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna go to the place where they definitely took Princess Zelda. Like, what made them think that?
That was it. You're getting shot at.
Yep.
But now we have to collect Triforce charts.
Yep. Or pieces. So, one is directly east of here.
We must travel directly left. Wait.
East.
That's actually right.
Yep.
So not just do I not know my cardinal directions, I don't know my other directions either. Do you know what's terrible? I'm one of those people who has to do this to know which way's left and right.
It's alright.
I have to sit down and do that because otherwise my brain will just be like, no.
You're allowed.
It's like, fuck. Which way's left? But I have to do that or I can't think of it. And, like, I'm not stupid. That's just something my brain never thought was useful. And it doesn't come up often enough in life. Like, oh, you have to get the left one. That never happens in life. So I'm never like, oh man, I have to get the left one. I never think, oh shit, which side's left?
See, I do a lot of things with both my hands. So it's one of those things that my brain solidified as useful. I'm not saying Keith is wrong for the fact that his brain said, hey, this is useless information, therefore I'm not going to solidify it. I guess the ship demands a sacrifice.
Demands your blood. Blood! Blood!
We'll murder you.
Like the goblins.
Like the what?
I forgot what their enemy name was, so I just made sounds.
Mini blends, I think.
Okay. I was like, goblin somethings? I don't remember their names.
Yeah, because there's bokoblins, which are the guys who have the joy pendants. And guess what? To get another Triforce piece, I'm gonna have to go back to fucking Windfall and do a stupid minigame that involves spratty school children. So I can get a title deed to an island. Because
you own an island in this game?
You can. Well, you have to if you want to get...
That's awesome. I want an island.
Want bacon?
Why don't I own an island?
Because you don't own all of Donald Trump's money.
I want an island.
You know what I want? What's in this chest?
What is in this chest?
It's probably gonna be
Is
the
it
next...
people?
No, it's probably...
Just to mix my movie references up?
Nope. It's a treasure chart along with the next episode.